What do you know about affordable housing? What is affordable housing? Affordable housing looks just like all the types of housing you see in your community. It can be apartments, townhouses, single-family homes, manufactured homes, even high-rise apartments. What does it mean for a home to be affordable? Affordable means you don't pay more than 30% of your income on housing costs. That includes utilities, taxes, and insurance. The average two-bedroom fair market rent in Virginia is $1,078. If you make $12 an hour, or $25,000 a year, you will spend over half of your income on housing. With nearly half of your income going to housing, there's little room left for emergencies, extra clothes, doctor visits, or saving for a rainy day.
As the California real estate market is rising, people may be looking at some trouble finding affordable places in the Bay Area. Reporter Jennifer Jensen takes us there.
The recent success of companies in the tech sector is causing real estate prices to skyrocket in the Bay Area. Over the years, residents have seen ups and downs in the real estate market, but recently the prices of homes has significantly increased. In California, Silicon Valley has been the driving force behind this tech revolution. Many tech companies such as Twitter have been the cause of rising real estate prices in places such as right here in San Francisco. This has been a controversial issue for those looking to move into the city. With many of these tech companies moving into San Francisco, potential renters and buyers have seen the cost of apartments and homes rise to record high prices. On average, buying a home in San Francisco cost upwards of $1 million. The city has seen a 10% increase in home values just this past year and expects to see an even greater increase in 2016.
So if you started renting like 7 years ago, you could find a place that was, like, let's say, $1,500 a month. That same place now, if you're trying to rent it with like no extra amenities, is like $4,000.
This home, located just 5 blocks from the Golden Gate Park, was recently sold for $1.2 million in cash. Although it may look like a rundown shack, many people are willing to pay these high rates in order to live in the city. Anyone can leave their heart in San Francisco, but only those with plenty of money can actually afford to live there.
Part of the problem is lawmakers, state and local, help create the problem by enforcing these anti-growth policies. Today, home prices are twice the national average, and 70% of people can't afford to buy a home.
California, and San Diego as well, has a housing crisis. We can't provide housing to our citizens.
For all its claims of being an economic paradise, California is a failure when it comes to affordable housing.
The biggest tragedy of California is that we have stopped building housing for the middle-income folks.
Last year, the cities of Houston and Dallas built more homes than the entire Golden State.
Supply and demand works. People want to be here. We're not accommodating them with new housing, and so the cost of the housing goes up.
Who's to blame? Current residents don't want more traffic. Environmentalists oppose growth. Politicians fear both.
We started the process in 2010 on the planning.
7 years later, Newland Sierra is still trying to build new homes near San Diego. A similar project in LA battled environmental lawsuits for 20 years.
Very often these lawsuits are not won, but it extends the amount of time it takes to do the development, and in development, time really is money.
But with homes hitting $600,000 for a starter, opponents face a backlash.
It stands for Yes in My Backyard.
This mom started a YIMBY group to counter those who say, not in my backyard, to every project.
Our long-term growth and prosperity is absolutely fundamentally dependent upon having housing that folks can afford.
But because that housing does not exist, 1 in 10 residents are considering leaving, and 2 million age 25 and above, Sandra, already have.
Now, we all know how expensive it is to live in the Bay Area, and now the state legislature is trying to help. On Friday, the governor signed a package of affordable housing bills in San Francisco at a new public housing project in the city called Hunter's View. Now, California lacks more than 1 million affordable housing units compared to the demand.
We want to achieve safety and the aesthetics and the right kind of neighborhoods and all the rest of that stuff, and we get a lot of rules. So now we got to figure out a way to streamline, and we're doing that in these bills.
Now, several of the new laws will reduce red tape to help speed up construction. Another bill would put a measure on the ballot next year for a $4 billion housing bond, and one will impose fees on real estate transactions to raise at least $250 million a year. Now, these new laws are designed to create about 90,000 homes over the next decade.
Governor Brown just put his signature on a package of bills to address a pressing need for more affordable housing.
Now, the laws are designed to raise money for construction and remove red tape.
KPX 5's political reporter Melissa Kane joins us now with some details. Melissa?
Yeah, Veronica, and again, as we know, the word housing is pretty much always followed by the word crisis these days. And today in San Francisco, dozens of elected officials gathered to watch the governor sign 15 housing crisis bills into law. Now, some of these new laws put more money into housing, but money isn't everything.
We have spent 50 years in this state digging ourselves into a deep hole by putting obstacle after obstacle in the way of new housing. And we are paying the price today.
Literally, we're paying the price in sky-high mortgages, unaffordable rent, and a generation of workers worse off than their parents.
All these rules were passed by people like you. Let's face it, city and state people did all this good stuff. But as I always say, too many goods.
The governor just signed that series of bills just moments ago. Take a look behind me. You're going to see a lot of lawmakers here, dozens of lawmakers gathered speaking before the governor signed those affordable housing bills, choosing this location, Hunter's View in San Francisco, because this is a site of affordable housing project. It's also one of the most expensive cities in the state. Now, several lawmakers spoke, as I mentioned. We also had a bunch of mayors, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti, SF Mayor Ed Lee, and Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, all speaking today, calling this a landmark moment and a major step to increase affordable housing.
Welcome to the Bay Area. Let's get to solutions. Let's hand out keys.
We see it every day here in the Bay Area as we are stuck in traffic next to super commuters who spend 2 hours driving from a home they can afford to a job that allows them to afford it, driving over growing tent encampments.
The California dream is in danger. But this session, on top of cap and trade, on top of transportation and traffic mitigation, you stepped up and did something that is a brave step for this entire state.
There's a total of 15 bills aimed at increasing the supply of affordable housing.